It's finally time to dyno tune our L28 Turbo 1981 Datsun 280zx. If you're an OG subscriber to this channel, you'll remember we dyno tuned this thing 2 years ago and we slipped the clutch on the dyno. Since then, we've put a heavy duty clutch in this thing, but we never got around to putting it back on the dyno. Under the hood, we have the completely original 43-year-old L28 motor that came in this car. Of course, as you can see, we've bolted a turbo onto the side of this thing. We've also completely shaved the stock intake manifold and filled up all the holes. We've got a custom Raceworks fuel rail and Bosch 440cc injectors. Now, whilst we did tune this thing for power on the dyno last time, we didn't actually tune any of the fueling down low, and this thing is rich. So rich, in fact, that it leaves these black marks on my neighbor's driveway. And even just from sitting here idling, you can see how much fuel it's spitting out. So yeah, that's definitely a problem I want to fix. Of course, this being a 43-year-old motor, you never know how these things are going to go on the dyno. I'm hoping to make somewhere around the 200 kilowatt mark. I'm not sure if that's too much to ask out of this old motor, but there's only one way to find out, so let's head to BSC Performance and let's throw this thing on the dyno.
Like I said before, this is the original motor that came in this car. No head studs, no head gasket, and it has 210,000 kilometers on the clock.
So easily the best thing about this car is the noise it makes. This thing sounds absolutely glorious. That is unbelievable. One thing I would say about this car, it is such a pleasure to drive. Like, no wheel shake, no nothing, 100 kilometers an hour. This thing is just an absolute breeze. It's so good.
And just like that, we arrived at BSC Performance.
So the Datsun is now on the dyno.
The dyno is basically a giant treadmill for cars. It measures horsepower, torque, and air-fuel ratios. And with our Haltech Elite ECU, we can adjust things like fuel delivery, ignition timing, and boost levels to get the best performance possible out of our motor.
And before we can get to work dyno tuning this thing, we have to swap out the spark plugs. So because we've been running this thing so rich, the current plugs that are in the motor will not be any good. And to avoid having to swap them halfway through, we may as well just throw the plugs in now. Also, while we're at it, we'll go ahead and just check the oil and everything in the motor as well and make sure it's all good to go.
Because of the unique custom turbo setup that we have on this L28 motor, we have to remove the turbo to replace the spark plugs. Luckily, there's just a few V-band clamps and the turbo comes right off. And when I finally got the first spark plug out, my suspicions were confirmed.
Yep, that is cooked. Old plug, new plug. Look at that, so fresh and so clean. So we're gapping the plugs using the spark plug gap tool, and we are gapping them down to 0.7, so almost as small as this tool goes. Stop it, perfect.
We threw a bit of anti-seize onto the spark plugs before installing them into the motor, and we were finally ready to do some tuning.
New plugs installed, let's go. And just like that, all the spark plugs are in, the car is back together, and I'm here with my man Bogger, who is about to tune the car. First question I want to ask you, what power do you think it's going to make?
I'm going to say 200.
200 kilowatts? That'd be nice. So you jump in the car right now, what are we going to start with?
I want to check timing to make sure timing's all good.
Yep.
Then we just start steady stating.
Awesome. That means, what is steady stating?
Steady stating is we literally sit in every load cell that we can at every RPM from like 1200 up to 3600.
Yep.
And get all the fueling right and try and maximize our timing.
Yes.
And then we go into power runs.
The power runs are always the runs that you see on YouTube.
You don't see the boring stuff.
But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes before we can do the power runs. So before we even get the back wheels rolling on the roller, we're tidying up the idle.
It's already a gazillion times better.
Yeah, it's so good. Give it a rev. Yeah. That's really good.
It was finally time to get the wheels spinning on the dyno, and Bogger spent the first few hours of the session going through the tune and making sure this thing drives like a new car on the road.
Beautiful.
And then when we heard this sound, I knew it was time for some power runs.
Alright, so after all of that preparation, we're now ready to do some power runs. And if you are someone who's had a dyno tune before, you know just how nerve-wracking this is. I've had one engine blow up on the dyno before, but that was simply because we put too much boost and power into it. But that has exponentially increased simply because this is a 43-year-old motor. So yeah, the nerves are kind of high, but hey, I'm just hoping for a good number, somewhere around the 200 kilowatt mark, and I'll be super happy. But let's do some power runs. So we're currently making 169 kilowatts. We're going to turn the boost up a little bit. We're currently running 11 pound of boost. These L28 motors have about 8.3 to 1 compression ratio, so quite low, which means we should be able to run a little more boost without putting the motor at risk. But this is a completely stock motor, no head studs, no new head gasket, no nothing. So yeah.
So we tweaked the wastegate to add about 2 more pounds of boost, and we were ready to go.
What just happened is we ran out of fuel injector. We only have 440cc fuel injectors in this car.
To compensate for this, we wound up the fuel pressure a little with the hopes that that would fix our issue for now.
And just like that, we are all done. What is the end power figure that we hit?
What did we get? 192.
192 kilowatts in the end. So you did that one final power run, and we picked up 3 extra kilowatts.
We jacked up the fuel pressure because we're out of injector.
Yeah.
So it wants the boost, but it's got no fuel.
So the injectors here are the limiting factor. The motor itself,
Sweet.
happy as 43 years old.
And it's gangster, eh?
It's just got, and we're not running a catch can on this motor.
It's not breathing at all.
Not a wisp of blow by. That is impressive.
It wants more.
Yeah, it does.
It needs Raceworks, bigger injectors, please.
Yeah, I just got off the phone to Raceworks. We're already putting 1000cc injectors in it. Oof. So do you want to walk us through the before and afters? Can you explain what they mean?
The solid line here is this axis.
Kilowatts.
And the dotted one is your torque. So we started off with 154.
Kilowatts?
Yep. And around about 320 Newton meters. We're now 490 Newton meters and 192 kilowatts. So that's pretty good gains.
Is that good?
That's
really good, huh? Yes, and that's all just, I think we added a little bit of boost, maybe 2 pound.
2 pound of boost. It was more in the injection timing and the injector setup is where we sort of gained everything.
Yes, and again, obviously a lot of people look at the dynos and just look at the power runs, but Bogger spent most of the time going over the actual drivability of the car, because...
Which this is going to feel... I can't wait for you to drive it.
Yeah.
It is going to feel so different.
That's what I'm most excited about, because obviously, like, this is more of a cruiser. Obviously, we do pulls here and there in it, but the drivability is really the most important part. Alright, so it is time for the first test drive after the dyno tune. I'm very excited, slightly nervous to put my foot down in this thing. That is absolutely unreal. Oh my God. Wow. Literally night and day. Like, crazy. Third gear pull. Wow. Yeah, that is absolutely awesome. All of that as well from this old motor. Crazy. Oh my God. It's so smooth as well. Jeez. That is wild.
Is that way better?
That's night and day. That's absolutely insane. So smooth.
Told you it would be.
Yeah. So good. Well, there you have it. Our Datsun 280zx is officially tuned, and this L28 motor, it just continues to exceed expectations. 43 years on, and this thing is still running as good as it did the day it rolled out of the Datsun factory. It's crazy to think that we saved this thing from the scrap heap over 5 years ago, and we've slowly transformed it into an amazing car that I can hopefully drive around for many years to come. Of course, we are going to throw some bigger Raceworks injectors into this thing and turn the boost up. Why, you ask? Well, just because we can, but that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you feel like it. Next video, we are back building the drift kart. I am super pumped about that. I've got some very cool parts on the way. But until then, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. You peace, bye. Man, this thing exceeds expectations. Such a good car. Love driving it. If you see me around, definitely give me a honk. Until next time, bye. Bye, 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 bye.